Welcome back. Yeah, here we go. So, we got like a few questions left. How has, COVID or the pandemic, how has it affect, I know this is another question that I've asked every so often, but how has it affected you personally when it comes to work, personal life, etc.? Anything in between?
Yeah. So like I said, I work in a hospital. So,
Oh,
I was in the
mm.
thick of it. And
Bravo,
I mean,
though. Like, I really do commend your efforts. Like, if somebody's working at a hospital, I sincerely have to thank them for all their hard work. Seriously, just keeping all of us healthy, alive, and you know, our sanity intact. Because,
yeah. And I was very jealous of everybody. Like, oh, got like a month off. And I know like there was a lot of, income insecurity and, I don't want to make light of that because I was very fortunate that I was able to work throughout the whole thing. But at the same time, especially when we didn't know what was going on, it was really scary. And, we had to wear like the big, almost like hazmat type things. And, you still had to make light of it. And I'm like, oh, I feel like I have a dinosaur tail on, but like I remember like one time the lights were dim and I had somebody had one of those hazmat things on going into a room and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like this is post-apocalyptic. So um, I have really good friends that were entertainers, and they lost their jobs, so they moved that online. Um, my husband works from home, so he was really good at like coming home, like taking care of my emotional needs. I had $2 Chuck. I was buying $2 Chuck by the case, and I would like literally get in bed, open a bottle of wine, and watch my friends do. It was like a cocktail hour, um, or a happy hour where they would like play music and just different themes, and we just all had fun together. So it was like an online party, and it was like the stress relief that I needed to come home to, the big outlet. So I always had something to look forward to at least. But I do think that it just changed a lot of perspective of like, okay, is this really what I want to do? And like I said, I'm burnt out, but I do love what I do, and I think the pandemic did burn me out a lot. Um, but it also made me say, that voiceover thing, that made me happy. That made me excited. That's what I really want to do with my time and my skills and um, and seeing everybody. This is the big thing, seeing everybody to like work remotely. Even now, like I have a rental and I get like people my age and younger and they still work remotely and I'm so jealous. And I think that really spurred a lot of too of like, I want to be able to do that. I want to work from anywhere, um, and just explore the world and still be able to work from anywhere.
yeah. So, just to clarify, are you union or
No, no.
agency?
I'm
Okay,
still in my
just wanted to.
first year. I'm not opposed to it. But I'm still in
Okay,
my first year, so
all right. I was just asking because, like, another question that I do ask often is like, um, because I know that there's, the strike that is going on, well, specifically a writer's strike. And
hmm
I know that SAG and everybody else is kind of like, I know it's been going on. Like, I know there's a lot of, but it's really nothing new. Like, strikes have happened, like, pretty much very frequently. And I know with this writer strike, it's like, okay, so I may not know exactly everything, I don't know like all the details of what's going on because, like I said, I've been doing this for like 5+ years, so I don't know like the nitty-gritty of what's going down. But I do know that, or at least what I'm hoping is that we'll see a lot of, positive changes when it comes to better wages and better treatment and just a lot of positive changes all around. I'm all for like being optimism. I'm all for being optimistic and just share positivity, love, 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 love all around.
absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I do have I have friends that do work in the entertainment industry, and So
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about this strike, and
Yeah, I do too.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, and it, yeah, being in LA, I'm sure you know a lot of people, and it's like
Hmm.
I think this strike is it's an important one. They the quick and dirty is they are still in a contract from like 20 years ago, I think, where they didn't, don't quote me on the actual time, but where Netflix
That
these,
sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah, and these like, writing shows for streaming platforms, we don't really know if this is going to work out. We don't know what this is going to turn into. So we're not going to pay you as much. Well, it's been roughly 20 years. We know how it plays out. We know it works. Why are you getting paid a fraction of what you used to get paid when you wrote for CBS, NBC, all of that? When that's not where people are anymore, or movies as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. There's a
So
lot of
yeah,
yeah.
it's just time. It's the evolution. It's time to evolve. So
Yeah.
I hope they work it out sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Because I know everybody from, Warner Brothers, Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, pretty much a lot of different companies, like, ABC and so on and so forth. I know there's a lot of changes. I'll just leave it at that. Because I
Yeah,
know there's certainly been a lot of changes over these last few years. You know what, with the pandemic and all, and like you mentioned before, remote recording. I know it's kind of become you know, I know that remotely it's kind of something that we've done from home for years now, but especially if you're trying to stay home from not to prevent yourself from getting sick, at an in-person studio, which they're opening it back up. So who knows how long um, yeah, I'm just kind of wondering how long that's gonna last. I mean, not to say that it's a bad thing, but I know that people do prefer being in a studio. Some are just really comfy being at home. I mean, I don't judge. Everybody, to each their own. But
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, everybody has their niche. So or niche. Wow, words.
Yeah.
Brain moment.
They're
Yeah,
both correct.
everybody has their own, little preferences, and that's totally a-okay. So who knows what's gonna happen in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of like the music industry back, I'll date myself, back when I was um younger, and we had Napster, and the music industry at first, their first response was shut it down, shut it down. And it's like, no, this is the next evolution. You evolve or die. And they had to figure out how to evolve. And I think, we with technology, like, the world is evolving, the world's changing so much faster all the time, and we can't be relegating people to antiquated constructs or contracts. We need to continue to evolve and be fair and good to everybody. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So just out of curiosity, what is I know you've been working a lot, but what is something that you like to do during your little spare time? I mean, I know that you said that you like going on vacations with your family, with your husband. I'm just kind of curious, what else do you like to do on the side? I
um,
wouldn't want to say
so
hobbies because I know when I ask that it's people if
well, I
I've
have a
asked this to a
hobby.
couple of guests, it's um they usually respond with not that it's I mean I don't judge. It's oh I don't know if I have it because it's we're just kind of workaholics. We're kind of working all the time, so I'm just kind of curious. What do you
Yeah, yeah.
what do you enjoy?
Um, when I have time. So,
Yes,
we
when you have
we
to.
really like
Yes.
when we have time. Uh,
Yeah.
we really like just exploring like escapist bars. So that's kind of how we got into tiki. I kind of mentioned that earlier. But like speakeasies, things like that. I kind of sound like an alcoholic here, but um, I actually did aerial acrobatics for a very long time. I had a short stint where I actually owned a school where I was teaching it. And that was a hobby. And it just kind of, with COVID, it made it very difficult to continue with that. But that's still something like I enjoy and I would love to get back to it eventually. Um, I am not good at it, but I picked up the ukulele. Oh, I know. I did pick up the ukulele, but on Mondays I started tap dance classes too. Yeah. I'm ridiculous.
It's nice. Gotta kill some time, with
Yeah.
other,
The little time.
yes, you know, you gotta find something to do to, if there's any time that is open, then just fill it with something else, I guess.
That's how
That way you'll be very productive. Yeah.
yeah, the worst thing for me is to sit around with nothing to do. If
Exactly.
I don't have
Yeah.
a job to do, if I don't have a hobby, or I'm just like, fried out from work
I
and I don't
just
have
find
anything
something to
motivating
do.
to do,
Yeah.
um this thing comes out, and I'm scanning social media and
Mhm.
wasting time and time and time doing something I don't even want to be doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Um, so I think of Vax, what are some of the challenges? So like for you personally, what are some of your biggest like obstacles so far working as a VO artist and doing everything that you're doing at the moment?
Um, just figuring out like what's the next optimal step of, you know, because there is so much, such little time, when you're working full time, then you have this part-time gig and you want to have a life, and I'm trying to be a good spouse and I'm trying to do all these things. Um, you know, like Fiverr, okay, where am I going to maximize my gains but still have work? And when is it time to get to that next level? And when is it time to expand out? And am I doing my marketing correctly, or am I just pissing people off? So just almost kind of just wondering like, how do I do this and how do I do it right? And, we talked about like those mentorship programs, and that's been the hugest asset for me. I just have a group I can talk to. I have training where they talk about here's how you market. This is like the industry standard. Here's what to expect. Here's when you rate like all these things that I have questions about. And I still question it and I still have to play with it, um, but it's hard, and then, you get tired and burnt out, and you're like, "God, I just don't wanna do anything today," and then somebody goes, "Here's a job," and you're like, "Cool, let me dig down deep and find that character for you."
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest projects that you've worked on that left it also made, what would you say are some of the biggest ones that really got your name out there? The ones that you look back on and realize this is why I love doing this for a living.
Hmm.
Who are
Um,
some of the people that you want to thank or give, like, a shout out to for, like, I don't know, as inspiration, the people who have influenced you along the way that, like, just give your shout outs and name anything that, that really got you to where you are today.
okay.
Just
Um,
anything and anyone in particular. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would say number one, my boss from Colorado Springs, his name was Corey Holtzberg. I think he's in like Georgia now, somewhere around there. But showing me that this was a real thing and kind of showing me, being first thing, um, that little mustard seed that is now blossoming, all these years later. Um, that's that's just been life changing, and the owners of the Tongue Hut here in Palm Springs in LA, um, they're so gracious, and I see with their staff, they always want to develop talent, and the fact that they took a chance with me, like I'm so grateful for that. So, um, and then I would probably say, um, I don't know what his actual name is, but his nickname was Frog, and he gave me like my very first job on Fiverr, which gave me my very first review. And like he'll still reach out to this day and be like, "Hey, how's IU doing?" Because he knows like we watch IU basketball, and or whatever. And every once in a while, he still sends me a job. So they're little jobs, but I'm so grateful because he was the first one first organic job that I was like, oh, like somebody actually likes me and they appreciate what I do. So I'm very appreciative to him as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, like, oh, maybe I could do, like, I could pursue singing or like whatever else that I can do. So if the opportunity arises, like, if you start becoming like a singer or what have you, like, would you do it? Like, as a side, job, because I know you've been doing VO and speech and
Yeah.
language, but for
Yeah.
singing, is that also something that you would like to pick up at some point in the future, professionally,
Um,
or? Yeah.
maybe singing jingles, maybe singing
Okay,
jingles,
yeah.
but
There you go.
um, I think my voice is like it's very sweet. It's not that rough. It's not, um, it's not like what you hear out like on the radio. I definitely don't have a radio voice. And I loved doing, Broadway and opera in college. I think, if I ever got a job doing jingles, like I would love doing that. Um, but I really, more than anything, I really just like kind of being hidden behind the microphone because I just feel a little bit more freer to explore and express.
Yeah. Kind of silly, but how about podcasting? Like doing a podcast kind of similar to what I'm doing, like at any point?
If somebody were to approach me with it, sure. I mean, like just, get to um, there's the podcast Stuff You Should Know. Um, and it's like basically like two friends and they talk about like random top like here's how something works, so like every podcast is how something works. And half the time they're talking about movies or food or they're fun to listen to. And
Yeah,
I think that would be fun to have a podcast like that for sure.
totally. Kind of what I'm
Yeah.
doing. So, um,
Exactly. And we haven't gone on a food tangent yet. Where's your favorite place in LA? Where do I need to check out next time I go?
okay, there's this restaurant called Maggiano's. It's in LA, but there's also one in Irvine.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they have like a lot of good Italian, like spaghetti, pizza, and all that
Yeah, I know
stuff.
Maggiano's. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Popeyes.
You're going
Let
for
me
the
see.
chains.
Yeah. Let me
How
see.
about like
There's this other
yeah, like specific to LA?
Krispy Kreme donuts. I just had some like last week, and yeah, I love donuts,
Oh, me too.
glaze, and all that. I
Yeah.
know that sugar is not good for you, but I love it. You know.
Well, here's something that'll make you feel good. I think it was I'm such a nerd, right? The American Heart Association released this thing. I think it was them. And like it was basically like stop drinking soda and like you could eat two
I'm back
donuts
on
for the
soda.
amount
Yeah.
you could eat two donuts for the amount of sugar in one soda. I think it was even more than that. I think it might have even been more than two donuts. So I never feel guilty about having a donut every now and again. So I'm like, at least I don't drink soda.
Oh yeah, I've had to cut back on soda because of all the cavities I was getting, and yeah, just that's why I don't really eat cookies or really eat a lot of sweets as much as I was before.
Yeah.
I'm just I've kind of had to learn how to discipline myself and not have to cave in and eat too much sugar because I get really bad stomach aches before, so that was like, okay, maybe I should just cut back on the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Cookies are my
Let me
kryptonite. Cookies and baked goods in general are my kryptonite.
You
And
have no idea. Yeah,
yeah. And
totally.
French fries. And French fries. So good. So good.
Yes. Dang. Okay, we're just going off on a food tangent.
See, I told you we this could be
Yes, we
our
gotta do it.
podcast.
Yes, we could just talk about food and just judge and Gordon Ramsay style, like, this is garbage.
I would love that. I'm such a
Yes.
foodie. I don't really, I'll cook when I feel get the bug, but I don't like
Yeah,
to
I
cook
mean,
dinner or
sometimes I'll pick it
whatever.
up. Yeah.
But I love eating food. I absolutely love
Yeah.
it. It's like that probably is my biggest hobby. Like I just want to eat
Yeah.
food and explore new restaurants.
Yeah. Let me see. I know you mentioned like a lot of fun facts about yourself for trivia, but let me see. I don't think there's really much else that because I know you've done this and that, so it's like,
Way too much.
yeah, what else you have to share, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I think we're good on that.
Yeah.
I think
Totally.
yeah. I don't think that there's anything else to share about myself as far as like things I do or have done.
Yeah. Oh, actually, what's your favorite media? Like, I know you've done commercials and, stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. I mean, not talking about the work that you've been doing, but like, what do you personally like to consume? Like, when it comes to movies, music, shows, like anything
Yeah,
that you want to give recommendations for? Because, I always love, getting referrals or like recommendations for like new shows or anything that I would want to check out. Like, I'm all up for that.
yeah. I like to binge watch shows. I don't have the attention span for movies very much. Um, but I
Oh yeah.
really, yeah. Um, you know, which is funny. Like, put me in front of a 2-hour movie, no way. Put me in front of a TV with a show, I'll be there for 5 hours. Like, with shows, it's
That is
just like,
interesting.
yeah, like I think it's kind of like, like it's the small doses and then you get the dopamine hit and you're like, okay, one more, and then you don't realize it. So
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah,
I know that feeling, man. What are
yeah.
some of your favorite wines? Yeah.
So
Names.
I'm like in the middle of like finishing Succession, Ted Lasso, and Barry right now. Um, we kept thinking like, oh, this is the finale, so let's binge watch all of them, and then we realized, oh, uh there's more from where we left off. So we're kind of letting those finish out. Most of them have by now. But we did just watch, I really like documentaries, especially like docu-series. And like true crime docu-series are fun too. And so we just watched one on HBO Max. Oh, it's Max now. Sorry. On Max, and it was the Jared the Subway Guys true crime saga, and he's from Bloomington, Indiana. So we were like, oh, we have to see what happens. So that one was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I just watched the new Spider-Man movie that just came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really good. No
good.
spoilers, but it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't really, like the Marvel. I do like Marvel, but that one I have
Yeah.
to like get in the right place for. So, but
Oh,
I've heard like
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
new Spider-Man is like, because they keep recreating Spider-Man all the time, and I heard this one's like really, really well done. So
Oh, absolutely. There's
we'll
a
see.
lot of hard work and attention to detail that went into it, but trust me, it's absolutely worth it. It really is. Yeah. And I also like a lot of other stuff. Like, of course, there's Sonic and Mario, and my room is full of posters from the many
Yeah.
different conventions that I've gone to over the years. Speaking of which, catch me at Sonic Revolution this Sunday on the 11th. So there you go.
So
That's my
jealous. I
little
would love
self
to
plug.
go.
Oh yeah. Um, yeah, but if there's like any voiceover like meetup or like if there's like a hangout that's like around like the LA area, like yeah, totally by all means, like during the summertime, if there's anything, like I'll definitely hit you up.
Yeah, that would be so
Like I'm
fun.
always up. I always love meeting new people and I always love, getting connected with my fellow peers and colleagues and seeing people. I love meeting people who are into the weird stuff that I'm into, so it's a
Yeah.
win-win for all of us.
And you never know when, I mean,
Exactly.
I always get hit up all the time, like, do you have a male voice? And my husband doesn't really like it when I rope him in doing voiceover.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, actually, yeah, there's this one, there's this one guy I just did a podcast with, or, there's this one guy that I was just talking to, through the academy, or I'll, put a job post there or something just to, share the wealth and share the connections. And I think it all
Yeah.
circles around.
We're here to lift each other up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's good networking. So.
Yeah. So feel free to promote or share anything that you're really looking forward to, that you're the most excited about. Like you could just share. I'm sitting on a chair. But yeah, just
Yes.
disclose anything that you're really looking forward to, like any upcoming projects, anything that you're working on, anything that you're like doing right now in your personal life, just anything, or I don't know, just anything
Yeah.
that seems to come to mind that you want to
Fully
promote and stuff.
the audiobook that I just was hired for yesterday is called Earth Me Up, and it's by a girl, a woman, um, and she's from San Diego, and it's all about sustainability. And I'm really, really excited to read that one. And I have friends that are big into sustainability, and I've dabbled in it. I learn a little bit, do whatever I can. So I'm excited to learn about it as I read it. And hopefully, when it comes out in the next month or so, once I get it recorded and we load it up on Audible, other people will check it out. Um, if you are into like some meditation and prayers and stuff, I also just finished doing a lot even if you're not Catholic, like they have some beautiful prayers just to kind of meditate to or kind of just center yourself. I'm not Catholic, but I'm like, God, these are just beautiful. And a lot of, there's just a lot about just being humble and being kind to your fellow man. And I'm just like, oh, I love this. So those will be coming on an app soon, and it's called Little Dreams. It's not out yet, but that'll be coming out soon. So, and that's the mission up in Canada.
Yeah. And do you still offer coaching or because I know you work with people. Like,
I don't do voiceover coaching.
okay. Just wanted
Yeah,
to
no.
clarify. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no voiceover coaching. I don't think I'm at that place yet. Nor do I have the time to, but maybe one day down the
Yeah.
road. So, but
Yeah,
that's
me neither,
that's not a
but you
like
never
a
know.
primary
Yeah.
focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Me neither, but you never know.
Right.
So, yeah.
You find the right person, you're like, you know what? Try doing this. And then suddenly you just find, oh, I
Yeah.
really love this.
Yeah. So what closing thoughts? Any last words then you want to leave us on?
Sorts.
Last piece of advice?
My
Yeah.
best voiceover website is voiceoversbyjen.com. Best advice is just keep practicing. Don't give up. Just, um, just keep believing in yourself when you feel tired and burnt out. Give yourself that time. Um, Also, don't settle for less. Sometimes we get treated like crap, especially when we're getting paid a low rate. And um, at a certain point, you don't have to take it anymore and just know we're just paying our dues. So that's kind of where I'm at
Yeah,
right now.
totally.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's kind of what I would leave. That pretty much
Mhm.
say the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my best piece of advice, and yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna close with.
I love it. All right.
Um,
This was so
yes.
fun. I'm glad we
Yeah,
were
thank
able
you
to
for
get
joining.
together.
Yeah, totally. This was definitely a lot of fun. Let me see, social media. I mean, I know you mentioned your website, but you're,
Yeah, I try to keep everything pretty stable. So like Twitter,
yeah,
voiceovers by Jen, Facebook, voiceovers by Jen, Instagram, I don't post to that often. But every once in a while I will. I'm trying to get better at Instagram. And YouTube. I post a lot of things like when I find something that I've done, I try to post it on YouTube.
yeah. One last thing, I love the painting right behind you, the little
I
picture.
know the Vetriano. Yes.
Yeah, I gotta mention that.
Yes. I love it. My husband and I we danced. He was actually a ballroom dancer in college and I did it. Just dabbled in it and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, it's so us with our, bare feet in the sand and dancing." I love it.
Yeah, that's a really nice painting.
Thank you.
Yeah, so was that how you both met? Like just dancing?
No, we met in college, yeah, but it
Ah,
was
okay.
definitely something we had in common.
Oh,
So, it's
cool.
a
Dope.
connection.
Connections, like how it all bookends. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, nice way of wrapping. You know, you see how everything just kind of wraps up together in a neat little bow
Mhm.
in the end? Yeah. So, with that, on that note, thank you for listening. And yeah, if you want to check out more episodes, there will be more on the way. It depends on. I mean, I usually like these are kind of like spontaneous, so there's not like a set schedule for these. But I do tend to post these like as soon as I'm able to, as not. I try to do these as often as I could, depending on scheduling, of course, because that's a big one. So
Mhm.
I'm glad that we finally got this. We finally did this today. So thank you so much once again for stopping by, Jennifer. And thank you, the listener, the viewer, or wherever this is going up. Thank you for, yes, thank you so much. And thank you for listening to us ramble on for like over an hour, which is the norm. So until then, see y'all next time. Hope to see y'all at Sonic Revolution this weekend. And until then, goodbye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye bye. Wee.